Hey everybody, I'm Sean Holsinger from HolsingerSlyShop.com. Welcome to another tying episode today. Today I'm tying a streamer pattern for you, and this is another one that was a customer suggestion. I was requested to tie these. I was sent a picture of it and I had to figure out what it was and then tie it. And it was a really cool looking fly, and I thought I would share it with you if you're into hair wing streamers, feather wing streamers, not hair wing. If you're into them, this is a fun one to tie. It's actually really cool. The original pattern calls for jungle cock. It's going to use the eyes down here for the eye on the fly, and then the feathers up here at the back. This is what you're going to use for the wing on the fly, which is really cool. But as you see, mine's really picked over, and I need a new one, and they're not cheap. And that's why I'm going to give you an alternative to it. So for the alternative, we're going to use this cream badger hen cape, Brahma hen cape, and I'm going to use these feathers down in here for my wing on it. So it's a great alternative. Really the only difference is the jungle cock has a line down the middle, down the shaft of the feather, and this Brahma hen really doesn't, but the fish can't tell that. And then we're going to use some synthetic peacock eyes from Semperfli. These are really cool, really nice to work with, and a lot less money than the real thing. So I hope you enjoy this, guys. It's just another alternative to tying one of the old classic streamer style flies, and it's fun to tie. It's fun to tie and experiment. You know, if you don't tie this kind of fly, even if you don't fish it, that's fine. Tie it for the practice. You know, learn some new techniques and have fun tying. That's what it's all about, because you take these techniques, you're going to use them somewhere else in your, it'll come out somewhere in the wash, and it'll help you by learning to do new things. So have fun. I hope you enjoy watching this, and here you're going to see the fly and device, and then the material is to tie it. Alright, here's a cool little streamer. This is the jungle cock version of it, and really cool, really cool looking pattern, but a lot of people don't have jungle cock, so I'm going to show you a way to tie it that, it's the less expensive way, we'll put it that way. Going to start out with the hook. The hook is a Daiichi 2220, and it's a size 10. We're tying this on a size 10. You could tie it a little smaller if you wanted to. Probably with the wings it'd be a little easier to tie it a little smaller if you wanted to go that route. Next thing I'm going to put on is the tail. For the tail, I'm just using a piece of marabou. This is fluorescent orange marabou here. And we're just going to pluck out some of the fibers off of it. And this is going to be, actually I don't like that piece. I'm going to come in here with a better piece. There, a little bit stringier pieces, and we're going to tie these on, and then I'm going to trim them down a little bit with my thumb and pull some fibers off. But we're going to tie this in here, get it tied onto the hook, and then I'm going to trim this down just to make it a little bit easier to wrap on here. Okay, now for the tail, this is way too long. I want to go about half the body length here. I don't want a real long tail, so I'm just going to pull it off like that. It's going to be underneath the feather, so you're just actually giving it the color that we want here. We want this to show through the tail a little bit. Then I'm going to wrap up towards the eye just to build up some thread on the base here and bring it back. Now the next thing we're going to use is some pearl braid back. This is pearl color. And we're just going to tie this on. Just going to tie it on top, tie it up by the eye if you want there, and then wrap it back. And this is just to give it a little bit of flash underneath. Then I'm going to come up right here by the eye, put a half hitch in because I'm going to use my rotary tool. So we're just going to get our thread out of the way, and you don't have to have the rotary tool, it just makes it a lot quicker if you do. And we're going to wrap that up to the eye. And I'm going to keep it about an eye length behind. And we'll tie that off and trim. Oops. Okay, then we can set that out of the way. Now, next thing we're going to put is the wing of this fly. We're going to start on the wing of this fly. And we're going to use some white marabou for this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the tips of this. I do not want much at all. So I'm just going to pull these fibers back and just get the tips, and I want about like 20 fibers. The key to this thing is minimalism. You can see there I got about 20 fibers or so, not many. And I'm going to set this on top. And what I want is just about halfway through that orange tail. So get that on there where we want it. And then I'm going to pinch it down and tie it down on top. Alright, there you see we got our wing started. Now we're going to trim that off. And I'm going to tie this like a black-nosed dace kind of thing. I'm going to use some white on the bottom, and then I'm going to use some black on the top. So I'm going to come in with some black marabou now. And all I want here is, like 5 or 6 fibers. I do not want many at all. Okay, maybe 8. What I want is just enough up top, just so you see it's there. Like half or a third of what you put on with the white. Alright, so there we are, we're on top. I'm going to trim this off. Okay, now, next thing, and you can do this at the end, but I tend to forget if I do. I'm going to put a collar on here. For the collar, we're going to use some more orange. Okay, and again, I'm just going to pull off a little section of it. And what I like to do on this collar here is I like to just pull it off and break the ends on it. I don't want a long collar, and I want them to be pretty uniform. So I'm just going to stick them on the bottom. For me, it's easy to turn my rotary vise upside down. Put them on there like that. And like I said, you can tie these on at the end, or you can tie them in now. I like to tie them in now while I'm doing the marabou, because I sometimes forget and go finish my fly with my Solarez at the end, and then I realize I don't have that on there. So there. Now, next thing we're going to do is put the feather wing on here. The feather wing, we're using some Brahma feathers. And we're going to take them, we're going to pull the fluff off the end here. And I want to measure this feather so it's long enough that it goes past that tail. And then we're going to set it on the side, and we're going to loose wrap it once or twice and then come in tight. Make sure we got it where we like it with the angle and stuff. Tweak it around there where you need it. And then we're going to put the other side on. Same thing on the other side. Pull the fluff off. Match up the length, try to get the same length here. And you want to put the bottom side in towards the shank of the hook so the two of them go together, as you can see there. Okay, now that we got them on, now we're going to put the eyes on the fly. The eyes we're using are the synthetic jungle cock eyes. So these are a lot cheaper than the real thing. And they're nice to work with too, because these won't split on you. They're just a piece of plastic. A plastic sticker, actually. So I'm going to set this on here, and I want that white dot to be behind my tie-in spot. So I'm going to put it where I want it. And then just tie it down tight. Come in and do my other side. Try to get it the same length. And then we're just going to cut these tags off. Okay, the last thing we need to do is clean up this head. Keep your wraps to a minimum here so you don't get too big of a head. Oops, trapped the fiber down there, so we're going to clean that up here in a second. Alright. There we go. Get a nice clean head on there. And then I'm going to take some Solarez Bone Dry. And that will just smooth this head out real nice. And give me a nice finish. And that's all that's to it, guys. It's a cool looking little fly. This gives you a nice imitation of the original using the synthetic materials. Makes it a lot nicer to work with and a lot cheaper. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Alright guys, I hope you liked that. It was fun for me bringing you this fly. It was fun for me tying it. I like classic style flies. This is like a red fin type imitation. Black-nosed dace, you know, could imitate anything along that line. Just an all-around fish catcher. Just a great minnow imitative pattern. And streamers are a lot of fun to fish, especially this style of streamer. Because a lot of time your hits are strong. You know, you're swinging it like a wet fly. They're coming up and grabbing it and going back down with it. So it's a good strong hit. And that makes it a lot of fun to fish, at least for me anyhow. I was out this morning, was fishing a woolly bugger, getting it down at my end of the drift. As I was finishing out the drift, I'd give it a little tug, and that's when the fish were just grabbing a hold of it. I didn't even really feel a bite. I like fishing this style of streamer. You know, casting it down and across, swinging it down through there, because, like I said, as they have to come up and grab it, and you really feel the hit. That's why I like fishing these style streamers. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to email me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's a pattern that you would like me to tie, you know, an old classic one or something like that. I'm always looking for ideas because I bring a video every week to you guys, and sometimes it gets hard to think of things to tie. So, you know, help me out if you want to. And I hope you enjoyed this one because I really did too. And until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Sean Holsinger.